You're born in the UK somewhere between 1960 and 2000. And guess what? You hit the reverse lottery. While your parents bought houses for 3 times their salary, you're looking at 10 times yours. If you can even get a mortgage, which you can't, because the bank says you can't afford £900 a month for a mortgage, while you're currently paying £1,500 in rent. Congratulations, kiddo. The system really hates you. Your grand entrance into adulthood is celebrated with student debt, unpaid internships, and landlords who think a mouldy box room is worth £1,000 a month. Your parents keep asking when you're buying a house. They bought theirs at 23. You're 32 and still sharing a flat with strangers who steal your milk. Now, just because you're British doesn't mean you're special, at least not in a good way. You're special in the sense that you're part of the only generation in modern history that will be poorer than their parents. Here's the catch. Living in the UK isn't just expensive, it's a competition. Every single day is a battle for survival against landlords, estate agents, and a government that sees you as a cash machine. By the time you hit 18, you're shipped off to university. Playtime? Never heard of it. While kids in other countries get free education, you're drowning in £40,000 of debt before you've even started working. But sorry, no excuses. You're British, which means everyone expects you to just keep calm and carry on while you're being financially murdered. You graduate at 21 with your shiny degree. Your parents are proud. They think you've made it. They don't understand that their generation pulled the ladder up behind them. That degree they're so proud of, it qualifies you to earn £22,000 a year in London, where a studio flat costs £2,000 a month. So you do what every British graduate does. You move back in with your parents. Remember when that was embarrassing? Now it's normal. 35% of people under 35 live with their parents. Not because they want to, because they have to. Because the alternative is homelessness. Then one day you get a promotion. £28,000 a year. You're basically rich now, right? Time to move out. Time to be an adult. You start looking for a flat. This is where things get serious. You find a 1-bedroom flat. It's small, it's damp. The kitchen is basically a corridor, but it's yours. Well, not yours. You're renting it for £1,400 a month. That's more than half your salary gone before you've even bought food. The landlord wants references. Previous landlords. But this is your first place. They want 6 months' rent up front. That's £8,400, plus a deposit, plus agency fees. Even though those are illegal now, they still find ways to charge you. Inventory fees, check-in fees, breathing fees. You borrow money from your parents. They don't understand why it costs so much. When they rented their first place, it was £50 a month. They think you're exaggerating. You're not. Moving day arrives. You discover things the viewing conveniently didn't show. Black mould in the bathroom. A boiler that sounds like it's dying. Windows that don't close properly. You complain to the landlord. They say it was like that when you moved in. You know it wasn't. But what are you going to do? Move out? You just paid £10,000 to move in. Months go by. Every penny you earn disappears. Rent, bills, council tax, transport, food. You're working full-time and you're broke. Your parents don't understand. They saved for a house deposit in 2 years. You've calculated it'll take you 15. If you never eat out, never go on holiday, never have fun, never live, then your landlord sends a text. They're raising the rent by £200. No negotiation, no justification. Just pay more or get out. You look for somewhere cheaper. There isn't anywhere cheaper. Everything's gone up. That damp flat you thought was overpriced. It's now a bargain. You realise you're trapped. You can't save because rent takes everything. You can't buy because you can't save. You can't move somewhere cheaper because nowhere is cheaper. You're running on a treadmill that's getting faster while you're getting tired. Your mental health starts cracking. You're anxious all the time. You can't sleep. You're working yourself to death for a life that's barely worth living. You see a therapist. They tell you to reduce stress. You laugh. How do you reduce stress when existing is stressful? At 30, something snaps. You decide you're buying a house. Somehow. You've saved £12,000 by living on rice and depression. It took 5 years. Your parents give you another 10,000. They remortgage their house to help you. 22,000 deposit. You're ready. You talk to a mortgage broker. They laugh. Not literally, but you can see it in their eyes. 22,000? That's a 5% deposit. Nobody does 5% anymore. You need 10% minimum, preferably 20. For a 2-bedroom house in Zone 6, that's £40,000. But let's pretend you have it. Let's pretend you magic up 40 grand. They run the affordability check. Computer says no. Your salary isn't enough. You need to earn 50,000 to borrow enough for a basic house. You earn 32,000. You're closer to homelessness than home ownership. So you do what desperate people do. You look further out, and further, and further, until you're looking at houses in towns you've never heard of. 2 hours from your job, 4 hours commuting every day. Is that living or just existing in a different location? You go to viewings anyway. Every house has 15 other couples looking. They're all older than you. They all have more money. The estate agent barely acknowledges you. You're not a buyer. You're just dreams window shopping. Back to reality. Your landlord wants the flat back. Their cousin needs it. You have 2 months to leave. You can't afford another flat alone. The only option is a flat share. At 30 years old, you're about to live like a student again. You find a room. It's in a house with 4 other people. You don't know them. The room is small, smaller than your childhood bedroom, but it's only £900 a month. That's a bargain in this hellscape. You move in. Your flatmates are all in their 30s too. All professionals, all broken by the same system. There's James, a teacher who can't afford to live in the city where he teaches. Sarah, a nurse who works 60 hours a week and still can't save. Mohammed, an engineer whose parents don't understand why their successful son lives like this. The house is chaos. Someone's always in the bathroom when you need it. Someone's always cooking when you're hungry. Someone's always making noise when you're trying to sleep. You're living like teenagers because the country treats you like children. But the worst part? This is normal now. This is just how people live. Professionals with good jobs sharing houses like students. Except students have hope it'll get better. You know it won't. Then one day, Sarah disappears. Just doesn't come home. You find out later her grandmother died. Left her £200,000. She bought a flat. Cash. Just like that, she escaped. Not through work, not through saving, through death. That's the UK property market now, waiting for someone to die. That's genuinely how most people your age will buy houses. Inheritance? Your parents dying is your retirement plan. How sick is that? You do the math. Your parents' house is worth £400,000. Divided between you and your sister, that's £200,000 each. But they're healthy. They'll probably live another 20 years. You'll be 50 before you own anything, if you're lucky. Some of your friends get lucky earlier. Their parents release equity or gift them deposits. The divide becomes clear. Those with rich parents buy houses. Those without rent forever. It's not about hard work anymore. It's about picking the right parents. You get a job offer in London. £50,000. You've made it. That's proper money. You can finally buy somewhere. You move to London full of hope. That hope dies in approximately 4 hours. 50,000 in London is nothing. A room in Zone 3 costs £1,500. That's not a flat. That's a room in someone else's flat. Travel costs £200 a month. Food is insane. Pints cost £7. You're earning more and saving less. You look at buying in London, just for laughs. A 1-bedroom flat in Zone 4 is £500,000. You'd need to earn £120,000 to get a mortgage, or have a £200,000 deposit. You have neither. You'll never have either. The inequality is obscene. You walk past empty luxury flats owned by foreign investors. Entire buildings dark at night because nobody lives there. They're just safety deposit boxes for oligarchs. Meanwhile, you're paying £2,000 a month for a box room. London breaks you. You see how the rich live, the penthouse apartments, the private gardens, the ease of their existence. Then you go home to your mouldy flat share and wonder what the point is. Why work so hard to live so badly? The government announces help to buy. Finally, help for people like you. You read the details. It's not help, it's a trap. You can buy a new build with a 5% deposit. The government lends you 20%. Sounds great. You visit a new build development. Tiny houses crammed together. No gardens. Walls so thin you can hear your neighbour breathing. They want $400,000 for a 2-bedroom house that's smaller than your parents' garage. But wait, it gets worse. The Help to Buy loan isn't free. After 5 years, you start paying interest. The house price goes up, so does the loan. You're basically renting from the government while pretending to own. Plus, new builds are worthless the moment you buy them, like driving a car off the lot. That $400,000 house is worth $350,000 the second you move in. You're in negative equity immediately. The government knows this. The developers know this. But desperate people do desperate things. You watch friends fall for it. They post photos. New homeowners. They look happy. You know they're not. They're trapped in overpriced boxes they'll never escape from. But at least they can pretend they own something. Your parents keep asking when you're settling down, when you're buying a place, when you're having kids. They don't understand you can't afford any of it. They think you're being dramatic, lazy, entitled. You try explaining. They bought their house for £30,000. It's now worth $500,000. Their mortgage was £200 a month. Your rent is $2,000. They earned less but lived better. They don't see it. The guilt is crushing. They think they raised a failure. You feel like one. Your sister married someone rich. She has a house, 2 kids. The life your parents expected. You're the disappointment. The one who can't get it together. But it's not just them, it's everyone. Social media is full of people your age buying houses, getting married, having babies, living lives you can't afford. You wonder what they know that you don't. The answer is usually rich parents, but nobody admits that. The climate change joke, 34 quint. The government talks about climate change, reducing emissions, saving the planet. Meanwhile, you're forced to commute 2 hours each way because you can't afford to live where you work. That's 4 hours a day polluting the planet because housing is broken. They want you to buy electric cars. Electric cars cost £40,000. You can't afford a house and they think you can buy a Tesla? They want you to install solar panels. On what? Your rented flat where the landlord won't even fix the heating. The rich fly private jets while lecturing you about recycling. They own multiple homes while you can't afford one. They heat swimming pools while you can't afford heating. But somehow you're the problem. Your avocado toast is why the planet's dying. The hypocrisy is staggering. The same politicians who destroyed the housing market now want you to save the planet. The same generation who pulled the ladder up want you to care about their grandchildren's future, while ensuring you'll never afford children yourself. Everyone you know is depressed, not sad, properly depressed, on medication depressed, can't get out of bed depressed. And why wouldn't they be? What is there to be happy about? You work jobs you hate to pay rent you can't afford for houses you don't own in cities that don't want you. You're exhausted all the time. You're angry all the time. You're scared all the time. This isn't living, it's surviving, badly. Therapy is £100 a session. The NHS waiting list is 2 years. Even mental health is for the rich now, so you self-medicate. Everyone does. Alcohol, drugs, shopping, gaming, anything to forget how bad things are. Your friend Dave killed himself last year. Couldn't handle it anymore. 40 years old. Good job. No house, no family, no future. Just decided he'd had enough. Nobody was surprised. That's the worst part. It made sense. You think about it too. Not seriously. But you wonder, what's the point? Working until you die for a life that's barely worth living? Your parents had hope. You have none. They were building something. You're just treading water until you drown. People keep saying there'll be a revolution. Things can't continue like this. Something has to give. But nothing gives. Nothing changes. It just gets worse. And everyone just accepts it. Because what's the alternative? Protest? You can't afford to miss work. Strike? You'll lose your job. Vote? For who? They're all landlords. The housing minister owns 6 houses. The prime minister is a billionaire. They don't care about you. Why would they? So you do nothing. You complain online. You share angry articles. You sign petitions. But nothing changes because the system isn't broken. It's working exactly as designed to transfer wealth from you to them. And it's working perfectly. The older generation doesn't care. They got theirs. The younger generation can't do anything. They have no power, no money, no hope. And the people in charge? They're getting richer every day from your misery. You dream about leaving. Everyone does. Moving to Spain, Portugal, somewhere sunny where houses cost less than a London parking space. But you can't. Your job is here. Your family is here. Your life, such as it is here. Some people do it. They leave, post photos from their new lives abroad. Best decision ever. But you know they're coming back. They always do. Because being poor in the sun is still being poor. And at least here you understand the system that's destroying you. Others dream of winning the lottery. That's the only realistic path to home ownership now. Not work, not saving, pure luck. You buy tickets even though you know it's stupid. But that £2 buys you a week of fantasy, a week of imagining a different life. Your landlord sends another text. They're selling. You have 2 months to leave. Again. This is the 5th time in 10 years. You're 40 now. Still renting. Still moving. Still nowhere. You look at the market. Rents have gone up again. That flat you couldn't afford 5 years ago? It costs double now. Your salary? Up 10%. The math has never worked. It never will. You find another flat share. Your new roommate is 23. Fresh out of uni. Full of hope. They think they'll buy in a few years. You don't tell them the truth. Let them have hope a little longer. Reality will crush them soon enough. So why does it suck to live in the UK? Because you're not living. You're existing. You're a battery in a machine that extracts your energy and gives you nothing back. You work to pay rent to landlords who use that rent to buy more houses, to rent to more people like you. It's a pyramid scheme, and you're at the bottom. Your parents had jobs that paid enough to buy houses. They had pensions. They had hope. You have gig economy work that barely covers rent. You have no pension because you can't afford to save. You have no hope because the math doesn't work and never will. They sold your future to pay for their retirement. They pulled the ladder up and now wonder why you're not climbing. They destroyed the economy and blame you for not thriving in the wreckage. Living in the UK means watching empty houses while you're homeless. It means paying more in rent than others pay for mortgages you can't get. It means working harder than your parents for less than they had. It means knowing your life will be worse than theirs, and your children's, if you can afford them, will be worse than yours. The UK isn't a country anymore. It's a business, and you're not a citizen. You're a customer, a revenue stream, a mark, and the con is so good, so complete, that you think this is normal, that this is just how life is. But it's not. Other countries don't do this to their people. Other places let people afford homes, have families, build lives, live. The UK doesn't. The UK just takes your money, your time, your energy, your hope, your future, everything, until there's nothing left but debt and despair and the knowledge that you were born in the wrong place at the wrong time to the wrong class. And the worst part, there's nothing you can do about it. You're trapped on an island that sees you as livestock, work, pay, die. That's your life. That's all you get. Welcome to the UK. Now pay your rent.